This week on Hermitcraft.
If I could change or add or delete anything in Minecraft, anybody who plays YouTube Minecraft for a living got health insurance through Microsoft, because it's killing me at $800 a month.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And with charity events and short breaks all wrapped up, it's safe to say that the server is close to running at full capacity again, which is great news for us, but possibly bad news for the server hardware. After all, the farms are farming, the chunks are loading, and DocM is considering what else he can fire across the server at several times the speed of sound. And throughout it all, the postal service is still supposed to work, and the trains need to run on time. So with all that in mind, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with XB Crafted, who revives his third degree game from Season 9, but takes on the burden of Quizmaster himself and spends the entire episode roaming the server asking people these questions 3.
If you had free reign over Minecraft, what one thing would you change?
I would make it mandatory for any Minecraft player to dupe sand. I
Right.
want to note though,
What's that?
I'm not petty.
We're looking forward to the next episode where he only speaks in riddles and one of him always lies. But in the meantime, enjoy discovering everyone's Minecraft origins, wishlists, and favourite memories from their time on Hermitcraft.
Alright.
This isn't legally binding, so you should be alright.
Though Hypnotized has since expanded the core memory collection by adding to it that time Etho helped him transport a shulker, only for there to be 2 shulkers instead.
The shulker, after a little bit of testing, is now in the mail system.
Long story short, Hypno's been planning a shulker farm, and that got a live box of Grumble stuck in the mail system, which, mind you, is equipped for shulkers, just not of this kind. The farm he wanted to make will ultimately break with the coming update, so Hypno holds off on it, and in the meantime sells the offspring of his aggressive box to Etho for whatever purposes he may want it.
Probably when Etho aggroed it and it was shooting, it somehow shot itself and then replicated.
Working with the hollowed versions, Azuma Void finally tames his ever-sprawling shulker box system. The automated storage takes hours to build, but also hours to set up the multi-item filter boxes. But as a result, X can navigate his item piles at a glance, and hey, if they add his wall to Etho's floor, eventually we can build a full house out of a storage system.
But I reckon I probably could have made a couple of episodes with the time I spent doing all of this.
In the meantime, Azuma takes it upon himself to sort out the server's community wool supply and introduces Stress Monster to the Wolves of Wall Street initiative. Fellow permit holder Stress is absolutely taken by the cute stall designs and the team hats Azuma brings to the table, along with a horn of him going awoo very loudly.
Do you sit in your place and howl like a wolf to make that?
I did.
We look forward to 9 more textures of that wolf helmet showing up on the server after the update. Stress's other business initiatives are no less colourful. Her Street of Murder Mystery townhouses continues despite interruptions by the mailman and his opinions about lampposts.
I don't know these things. I am but a humble mailman. Apparently this is my job now.
More of a setback is the curvature of False Symmetry's custom river, which swings a little too close to Stress's front door. But when she calls out False for the funky bend, which sounds like the next viral TikTok dance to us, False is happy to adjust it, giving Stress room to install a mailbox further down the line.
Well, I will pay because I'm not rude, you know.
No, you would never be rude, Stress.
No.
That'd be rude.
That would be rude.
Iskal85 is now hooked up to the mail system and seems very keen to communicate with Smallish Beans in particular. Too bad the service doesn't have an out-of-office mail redirect just yet. Consider it a stress test of the system, mostly to see how stressed Joel is when he returns to find his postbox stuffed with sweet nothings.
How many for 64? Do I get a good price?
64? Okay. Did you just buy... Oh my gosh, Skill.
Okay, well I'm off.
Oh, look.
Iskal contributes some more buildings to the Mystery Street as well, although his real estate ambitions don't stop there. The apartment block attached to his factory needs tenants, and so via various wheels and deals he convinces Vintage Beef, Etho and Gemini Tay to move in. Apparently in future there will be some sort of game involved which could make one lucky resident very rich, but for now the game just seems to be collect all the Canadians.
Now,
Yeah.
you know me and my track record. We'll be lucky if it's done before I get bored of the season. But the goal is...
At least it's a less lethal game than Etho's Frogger course, into which Iskal invests several diamond blocks and a good handful of deaths. To properly pay off her mortgage, Gemini Tay will have to start taking advantage of her prime permits. And luckily Etho has mailed in good news about the Trident farm he's making for her, which may or may not be just him picking up whatever the Frogger players drop at this rate. To make sure everyone knows where to get their dessert forks, Gem raises a towering statue of a redhead figure wielding a trident, which is also where she'll be selling the things out of. Quite fitting her maritime self will be paying tribute to Poseidon, and also I can't wait for Hades too.
Oh, and it looks so good from a distance. I love the angle of the trident. You could totally see what this is meant to be.
Meanwhile, Wales Knight, being his own landlord, steals bricks from his own shop to decorate the kitchen.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a couple stacks from there.
The castle's basement level is interesting in that the prison dungeon Wells builds shares a wall with the staff kitchen, but also the logistical hilarity here is that the jail cells all have individual pooping holes in the ground, which happen to be the only pooping holes within the whole castle. Yeah, chamber pots or whatever, but it's funny the jail cells are technically en suite. After an assassination attempt by Big Salmonella, Doc M77 has decided that the swamp is his castle and that he's staying out there permanently, perhaps to escape the responsibility of firing back at Wells Knight's diss track. Ultimately, home is where the storage system is, and Doc needs big storage. Mashing together several modules tailor-made by the technical community, Doc demonstrates how the system works and how Lightmatica can show him the setup for each multi-item storage chest. He also has plans for even more boat warping shenanigans, but is concerned people building out in his direction might interrupt that. At least he's getting sand from the woodshopper as intended. Now, if only the other woodsmen would follow through with the aesthetic.
Looks like somebody moved in. Is Joe living here now? What? What? Guys, it's working. We're selling sand. We have like, I don't know, 4 double chests of sand here.
Let's at least give Skizzleman time to mourn not 1 but 2 horses, as a streak of bad luck leads to the demise of both his original mount and his replacement.
Who just did that? Who just killed Glue Stick? I had a screen up over top of it because I was configuring.
If only he could ride a sturdier steed, like one of the Ravagers that turns up after he accidentally triggers a raid of Magic Mountain. But at least Gem and Grian are there to help, in massive inverted commas.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it? What a fun little chunk of madness that I caused.
The animal wrangling goes a little better for the 3rd layer of his pyramid, as he recruits an enthusiastic Zedaf for a masterclass in dangling. Between the two of them, they successfully glide 2 foxes back from the distant tiger to Skizz's pyramid base, which, by the time that visitors reach level 3, will somehow convince them why they need foxes.
Oh no!
Woo! Woo!
Oh,
Yes!
I scared myself.
Not filled up on his acrobatics, Zed develops a way for him to also be airdropped randomly around his base. After some creative single-player finagling, Zed comes up with a slime block boot that kicks him across the ravine he calls home, a system that nicely complements his piston extender elevators when it actually bothers to work, server latency being what it is.
What on earth, you kicky sticky stupid thing? Okay, well, the kicky sticky might not be perfect, but I still love it, and if there's nobody else online, I can be jumping around my base all over the place.
Cubfan135 offers a more reliable way of causing lasting damage given you mistake his product for the flying fireworks. Now that the limited edition Eclipse fireworks line has been, well, sunset, Cub switches to the door-to-door tactic and offers customized explosives, at least to Scar for now.
Okay, all right, they're being added. Here, I'll give you the rest of these here.
But a new partnership opens up for him installing the printing press autocrafters for whatever shop Beef decides to create based on his written book permit. Maybe there's future in firework advertisements being printed on the inside covers.
We could put in the statues book, because people are forgetting that all the time, man.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We could write our own books.
Yes, exactly. We could hire people like Joe. Joe's a poet.
As long as the book press does fine print, because that's what Vintage Beef specializes in. He galaxy brains his Mission Possible quest by accidentally on purpose throwing Iskal 1 too many diamond blocks as they seal the deal on the apartment, and well, the result is glorious.
42? Oh, I gave you 42. Can I get 1 back and I can give you this stick in return?
Okay. Thank you for the stick.
Thank you. I just
appreciate
completed my mission as well. Mission Possible. Start with a stick and trade your way up for a diamond block using as many hermits as you need to achieve your...
No way!
Yes, sir!
That's that is next level.
He also adds a little sneaky fine print into the written book he sends back with the Shulker Shells Etho requested, but given Etho's track record with hidden conditions, we'll see if that turns out in Beef's favor.
By accepting these Shulker Shells, your lifetime supply of Shulker boxes has now been revoked. Love you. Okay.
At least the farm life doesn't hold any unpleasant surprises, as Beef moves some horses into his finished stable and installs a netherwort field into his collection of crop farms. It's certainly an easier time than BOO has trying to make a flower and grass farm with Etho observing him. The fern farm is blissfully quiet by comparison, but to truly achieve the peace he wants, B-Dubs wants control over every view from his hillside cottage, and with eyes this big, who could blame him?
It's yours now. Thanks, Etho. Etho made this? He was over here doing my lesson. I like this special guy.
He sets out to craft a custom forest in which every blade of grass was placed by hand. Tall trees, secluded paths, and a custom-built waterfall come together, and he invites people to see the wood for the trees.
Course along rivers, lots of stones and stuff that gets washed up.
The end goal is to bring even more life to the forest, although he has mixed feelings about moving the rabbits in.
You're currently watching my showcase, all right? This is a showcase to Mojang to say, hey, you made bunny rabbits, but they suck.
The financial landscape of the server is also about to change forever now that Tango Tech has finished and activated his home base Redstone factory. Even if the main shop is far from ready for customers, people are already lining up to marvel at his explanation of binary encoding. Some of these words sure make sense to someone, but the short of it is, the walls make comparators appear.
but stop what you're doing.
But stop what you're doing.
Please explain it clearly, though, as you do.
Yeah.
False symmetry only builds one tree, and it's done a great job keeping what's left of the ancient tower standing in place. The general vibe of this build is distinct enough to expect a chest up top that teleports you to Lanedell, though False puts her nether portal into the thing, so more like it teleports you to Caelid. At least she's cautious enough that it doesn't warp you into the heart of the postal system, because the post office has been profitable on the occasions where the hermits haven't unwittingly broken it, and when Pearlescent Moon has no fires to put out, she can concentrate on base building instead. Pearl adds some more visible solar panels to her solarpunk farmhouse before adding a terrace with some organically grown chorus plants. A more industrial farm will likely pop up somewhere else, but in the meantime she needs somewhere to sell it. And between herself and Scar, the cat lover's shared brain manifested the cat bus, because of course, it's mostly selling purpur.
It's a cranky cat!
He is a little bit cranky because he's just been stuck on top of that roof.
And finally there's Mumbo, who finds himself suffering from success, because when your shops are this good, how are you supposed to do anything else? With art software, of course, Mumbo sketches up another build for his custom cliff, a rundown electronics store by the name of Big Ron's, which is possibly the only shop on the server to have a business card before it has an actual business.
Here it is, Big Ron's. I've had a really funny idea and I'm not sure it will work. So the idea is that the box is meant to be facing the other way around.
The shop comes together splendidly based on the concept art, and it's a good thing Pearl introduces him to his new post box around the same time, because Big Ron seems to perfectly match the era of a system that announces you've got mail. At least the mail service is backed by the government. Big Ron's isn't backed by anything.
I mean, it's literally only two sides of a build. And that is because there's going to be another build attached to the side of it. I'll be working on that soon.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.